Hello, welcome back to Mr. JWEG's channel for another incredible episode of The Dohyo. Today we are talking about access in the English-speaking world. Access to sumo. English-speaking people's access to sumo. Salt throw.
Throw the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo.
Alright, if you're here and watching this video, you probably like sumo at least as much as I do. And my main problem right now in the sumo world is getting access to the sumo. The sumo broadcast is run by NHK, which is the state-run media in Japan, and they own all of the sumo footage. And they are not very good about sharing. And when I say sharing, I don't mean just giving away product. I am very much for people getting paid for their hard work. But what I don't understand is an economic model that has thousands and thousands and thousands of fans that want to be able to consume your product and are not able to. Of course, I'm bringing this up because right now a lot of us in the online sumo community are reeling from the fact that the Nato Sumo channel is no longer going to be broadcasting. At least at the moment, they're down because of copyright violation. And again, I totally understand that people own artistic material. People own intellectual property. There is an app for NHK World on your Roku. I think it's on Apple TV, or you can just go to the website. And on that, they will give you the highlights for free, but I have a problem with that. The main problems I have with that are you don't get every single match. Imagine if you really loved movies, but you only got the airline version of movies when you went to cable, and it's like, oh, it's exactly the same. No, it's not. We're missing a lot of important information. And in the last tournament, if we had only followed the highlights, how much of Tokushoryu would we have missed? The other problem I have with the NHK app is the delay. They show the NHK highlights like 5 or 6 times the day after the sumo happens, and then the day after that they launch it on demand. So if you are at all active online, you are going to have things spoiled by people who are able to watch it live in Japan, or people who have a live satellite feed of the Japanese channel. I was inspired to start doing the Dohyo by an article by John Gunning, an amazing sumo writer. You all should be following him on Twitter and at the Japan Times and all the other places he writes. He's a brilliant, awesome writer. He had this article about what people want in the English-speaking sumo world, and what they want is more content. I even printed out the article. It says here, more content needed to satisfy sumo's overseas fans. Hello! So, some of you may remember, John did a big survey out on Reddit and was asking English-speaking sumo fans what they thought. The key takeaway from the survey was that although there were many issues surrounding English language coverage of sumo, fans are generally happy with the quality but not the quantity of it, especially from sources in Japan that can cover the sport directly. It's a conclusion I wholeheartedly agree with. I would like to see more content produced by a greater variety of people. I've pretty much maxed out all the time I have available for sumo coverage, so much like in sumo itself, the question remains, when will the next generation arrive and who will they be? John, NHK, sumo fans, I think the next generation is here. We're trying to make a name for ourselves on YouTube, and John even says in the article, we don't have a lot of direct first-hand knowledge about sumo. Well, John, we can't do that if you don't let us see the matches. I would love to be able to dig into archives and be able to compare Takakeisho and Chiyo Taikai, Chiyo no Fuji's, some of the old Taiho matches if those are available. For a project like The Shadow of Hakuho, this would be insanely invaluable. I want to be able to do this research and create a context of sumo for the people who don't necessarily have the inclination to dive into sumo reference and YouTube as long as I do. I'd like to be able to synthesize that information and give it straight to you, the people. We have channels for soccer, we have channels for highlight and cricket. We should be able to get something for us sumo fans here in America. My idea, NHK, is that you start a subscription service. You can leave everything as it is for the people who are totally satisfied with the experience of watching a sporting event 2 days late. But for those of us who would like to be able to watch these things, if not in real time, at least as close to real time as possible, we would like some sort of paid subscription service. I've been asking around online, on Reddit, on Facebook, what would people be willing to pay for like an all basho pass that would allow you to see all of the sumo in a particular basho for the sumo basho, and then maybe a few weeks afterwards you could watch it on demand as you wanted to. brings me to my second idea. There needs to be an online sumo archive. One of the complaints I was getting about my Shadow of Hakuho series, which you all should check out, is that there weren't clips, there weren't any shots of Hakuho defeating these people from 13 years ago. I don't have a place to get clips from 13 years ago. I don't know of any place where I can go through and get reliably every single match from these basho that are decades and decades old. We want to know more about sumo. We want to stay excited with sumo. We want to learn more about wrestlers. We'd love to know more about the lower divisions. But if you do not allow us to be a part of the sport, even watching it, how can you expect us to be as passionate about the sport as you are? Alright, this one was a little bit different, but thank you for joining me. Let me know what you think. Do we think that there is just enough access? Do you think there's too little access? Or there's far too much sumo in the world? Let me know in the comments. Thank you again for coming and joining us on the Dohyo!